WKAR presents QuizBusters. Production of QuizBusters is made possible in part by Consumers Energy, building Michigan's future by supporting excellence in education. Consumers Energy counts on us. And by viewers like you. Today, the Hornets of Kearsley take on the Cavaliers of Corunna in the 15th season of QuizBusters. Now, here's the host of QuizBusters, Matt Ottinger.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Dan, and welcome to QuizBusters. We are about a third of the way into introducing you to 64 area high schools playing this season's 15th season of QuizBusters. Of course, it's all qualifying games for the first half of the season, and these two teams are anxious to qualify. We'll find out which one of them will move into our tournament in the second half of the season in about 30 minutes' time. Right now, let's meet the players who will be participating in today's game, beginning with the Hornets from Kearsley High School, and they are Eric Meyers, David Whatling, the captain, Chris Schmidt, and Kate Zawacki. Their alternates are Brad Beagle and Scott Thatch, and their advisor is Mike Skidmore. The Hornets will play the Cavaliers from Corunna High School, and that team is Sandy Weir, Tori Rowley, the captain, Josh Espick, and Brian Esser. Their alternates are Carolyn Dorr and Josh Jones, and their advisor is Robert Johnson. And we're ready to do battle. Players will begin with the quick 10, as we always do. 10 toss-up questions to put a bunch of points on the board to get us started. Good luck to all of you. Have some fun with these. The quick 10 begins with question 1. On July 14th, 1789, Parisians marched against what notorious... David Kearsley.
The Bastille?
The notorious prison. The Bastille is right. Bastille Day, July 14th. Question 2. According to Longfellow, quote, hardly a man is now alive who remembers, unquote, April 18th, 1775. The night of whose... Chris Kearsley.
Paul Revere.
Paul Revere's ride. The ride of Paul Revere. Famous midnight ride. Question 3. His quotations were printed in a little red book carried by every citizen. Name this founder of the People's Republic of China. Brian Corunna.
Mao Zedong.
Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao, that's right. Question 4. Marcel Duchamp's LHOOQ adds a mustache and beard to which Leonardo da Vinci work. Chris Kearsley.
The Mona Lisa.
The Mona Lisa, that's right. Question 5. What member of a literary family writing under the pseudonym Ellis Bell wrote the novel Wuthering Heights? Chris Kearsley.
Emily Bronte.
That's the one, Emily Bronte. Question 6. What process used in nuclear power plants results in the splitting of a heavy nucleus into smaller nuclei? Brian Corunna.
Nuclear fission.
Nuclear fission, exactly right. Question 7. He was captured under a flag of truce while attending peace talks with General T.S. Jessup near St. Augustine. Name this Seminole leader. Osceola was the Seminole leader. Question 8. What creatures were fabulous smiths and manufactured Zeus's thunderbolts despite having only... Kate Kearsley.
The Cyclops.
Despite having only one eye. Nice anticipation. Question 9. Gustav Mahler suffered from what psychiatric disorder, often treated with lithium and once called manic depression? Gustav Mahler, a little bit late, Chris. Gustav Mahler was bipolar. Question 10. The Battle of Chancellorsville was the basis for what 1895 novel about Private Henry Fleming by Stephen Crane? Brian Corunna.
The Red Badge of Courage.
That's the one. That's 10 points, and that's our quick 10. And we're playing the regular game now. You play for control of the bonus question by answering this toss-up correctly. All 8 of you in for this. Its 18 representatives included Tim Ryan and Dennis Kucinich. Its governor is Bob Taft, and its senators are Mike DeWine and George Voinovich. Name this state on the Great Lakes whose politics are centered in Columbus. Chris Kearsley.
Ohio.
Ohio, you hear Columbus. That's right, 10 points. Organic compounds for you, Kearsley. To get started, Chris, you'll give me answers for your team. Name the simplest member of these classes of organic compounds. The simplest member of these classes of organic compounds. First, alkanes. A-L-K-A-N-E. Alkanes.
Lithium?
Not lithium. No, methane. Methane was the answer that we needed. So no points. That's a tough category there. We have a new toss-up for all players. The principal force studied in quantum chromodynamics, it affects objects with color charge, including the gluons that carry it. Name this fundamental force that holds quarks together in nucleons and nucleons together in nuclei. We were looking for the term strong nuclear force, the strong force. New toss-up. Its residents include Brombones, who may have used trickery to steal Katrina Van Tassel from a young schoolteacher. Name this New York valley in which, according to Brian Corunna.
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow, Washington Irving story, that's right. Ichabod Crane was chased by a headless horseman. Now Corunna's in charge, and Josh, you'll answer for your team. Answer these questions about Richard Nixon. First, Nixon resigned in 1974 over his role in obstructing the investigation of a break-in at Washington, D.C. office building.
Watergate.
Right, of course. Next, under which president did Nixon serve as vice president?
Was he Ford?
And I need your answer.
Gerald Ford.
No, Gerald Ford was Nixon's vice president. Under which Nixon did Nixon serve as vice president? Eisenhower, the answer. 10 points on your bonus, though, narrows the gap to 10 as we play our first pop quiz. One-on-one action, of course. And all your answers this time, players, P-I-C will be the letters we're looking for. P-I-C, begin all correct responses. Eric from Kearsley and Sandy from Corunna, get things started for us. A food or piece of food, especially, Eric?
Pickle.
That's right, especially a cucumber preserved in brine or vinegar. Nicely done. Next. A size of type in printing equal to 12 point. Pica, it's P-I-C-A is the size of type. And finally, the small piece of wood or plastic used to pluck the strings of a banjo. Sandy.
Pick.
A pick, that's right, a banjo or guitar. David from Kearsley now and Tori from Corunna. An outing in which the people involved bring a meal to be eaten. Tori.
Picnic.
Be eaten outdoors, that's right. Next. Any of several small pierce pike fish of North America. Tori.
Pickerel.
Pickerel is right. That's the name of the fish. Yes, and finally, the last name shared by the French astronomer who first calculated the Earth's radius and the fictional commander of the Starship Enterprise. That's Tori.
Picard.
Picard, played by Patrick Stewart. That's right. Jean Picard and Jean-Luc Picard. Chris from Kearsley and Josh from Corunna. To stage a demonstration by carrying signs, advocate. Chris is first.
Picket.
Picket, that's right, advocating or protesting a cause. Next. Any sauce, especially in Spanish. Chris.
Picante.
Picante, prepared to be hot and spicy. Finally, the 20th century Spanish painter whose works led. Chris.
Picasso.
Picasso is right. 10 points. Kearsley takes the lead again. Kate from Kearsley now and Brian from Corunna. The hyphenated term for the children's game of manual dexterity, sometimes called jackstraws. Kate?
Pick up sticks.
Pick up sticks, that's right. Next. The Confederate general best known for his charge in the that's Brian.
Pickett.
Pickett's charge, George Edward Pickett in the Gettysburg campaign. And finally, a person who steals wallets or other valuables. Brian.
Pickpocket.
A pickpocket. That's right. That's 10. Look, we're tied. How about that? Good job, everybody. You are playing for control of the audio bonus category now, and to break the tie, here's the toss-up. The so-called Admiralty side houses this city's most famous buildings, including the Winter Palace and Hermitage Museum. On the banks of the Neva River is what second largest Russian city, built by Peter the Great? Chris Kearsley.
St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, that's right. Built as a gateway to the West, Kearsley has control. It is the audio category. You listen to the audio first, then we ask you some questions. It is, of course, a bonus. You can confer during this. Let's listen right now to your audio clue.
I'm renting a U-Drive and I drive it. Then we both drive it. No, we do nothing of the kind. I drive. When I say you drive, I don't mean you drive. I mean that I drive, although it's a U-Drive.
Oh, when you say you drive, you don't mean me drive. You mean you drive because I don't drive.
Now you've got it.
Now I've got it. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
And here's your first question. Name the radio, television, and film comics heard in that 1947 routine.
Abbott and Costello.
That sounds a lot like their Who's on First routine. That's absolutely right. Now name these other comedy teams. First, they were a relatively obscure stand-up duo when they were tapped to host what would become one of the most phenomenally popular comedy shows of the 1960s. Name the pair whose names would be associated with the series Laugh-In.
Smothers Brothers?
No, a good guess, of course. They were a famous comedy team of that era, but it was Dan Rowan and Dick Martin. Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. You got 10 points, a 20-point lead in the game, and we have a new toss-up for all players. In the first round of the 2003 draft, they traded up to get tackle Dwayne Robertson. Other recent first-round picks by this team include defensive end Brian Thomas, wide receiver Santana Moss. That's David Kearsley.
New York Jets.
New York Jets is right. 10 points. And we're dealing with Australia now as your bonus category, Kearsley. Name these Australian cities specifically. First, the largest city in Australia. This capital of New South Wales is famed for its stunning opera house.
Sydney.
Right. Next. This city has served as the capital of Australia since 1927. Name it.
Canberra.
Canberra is right. For 20 now. Named for the consort of William IV, it is the capital of South Australia.
Melbourne.
Not Melbourne. No. Adelaide is the answer for that third one. You got again though 20 points and now a 50-point lead in the game as we go to our next toss-up question. Under Antonin Novotny, N-O-V-O-T-N-Y, Novotny, and Alexander Dubček, D-U-B-C-E-K, it was one of the more liberal Soviet satellite states, despite the Soviet invasion of 1968. Name this no longer extant country that divided in 1993. David Kearsley.
Czechoslovakia.
That's the one, Czechoslovakia. Now, of course, Czech Republic and Slovakia now. Authors, Kearsley. This author coined the term non-fiction novel to describe novels based on real-life events. First, name this author who also wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Maury.
Not Maury, no. Truman Capote. Capote wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's. No points on that one, but you're getting the toss-ups, and that's what's important because it keeps the other team, of course, out of getting bonuses. And right now at halftime, Kearsley holds on to a 60-point lead. Still a very close game, a lot of points on the board, and a lot of action still to come on QuizBusters. But right now at halftime, it's time to meet our players and find out a little bit about each of them. I look forward to this part because they always have such fascinating pursuits. We'll start over here with Kearsley, and Eric will put you in the hot seat and have you go first. Welcome to the show. Tell us about yourself.
My name's Eric Meyers. I'm a junior, and I like basketball and chess.
Dynamite. Eric, thank you for being here. David, welcome.
My name's David Whatling. I'm a senior. I like chess and quiz ball, and I want to attend University of Michigan for architecture.
Okay, well, good luck to you, David. Thank you for being with us. The captain is Chris.
Chris Schmidt, junior. I enjoy chess, and I hope to study law.
Okay, a lot of chess players. Very good. Kearsley, Chris, thank you, from Kearsley. And finally, Kate.
I'm a junior at Kearsley, and I don't play chess, and I'm taking Skill Center this year.
Very good, Kate. Thank you for being with us. The Hornets from Kearsley High School. Make them feel welcome. As you see, a nice big crowd on hand here in the studio with us. Corunna now, the Cavaliers. Let's meet them, starting with Sandy.
I'm Sandy Weir. I'm a junior at Corunna. I play the flute in the band, and I hope to attend MSU to be a teacher.
Very good, Sandy. Thank you for being here. Tori, welcome.
I'm a sophomore at Corunna, and I am in the school play this year, and I enjoy doing Quiz Bowl.
What play are you doing?
Arsenic and Old Lace.
Very good, a classic. Thank you, Tori, for being with us. Josh, welcome.
I'm Josh Espick. I'm a senior. I'm band president. member of the National Honor Society, and after high school, I hope to attend a 4-year liberal arts college.
Very good. Many to choose from. Very good, Josh. And finally, Brian.
I'm a freshman at Corunna. I play trumpet and band, and I hope to be a lawyer after high school.
Okay, well, good luck to you, Brian. And those are the Cavaliers from Corunna High School. And we're going to play the second half, players, the same as the first. I hope it's just as exciting. As I said, a lot of points on the board. You're playing for control of the video bonus, and here's your toss-up to get back into it. Good luck, everybody. Poet Gabriela Mistral, dictator's niece Isabel Allende, and Pablo Neruda are all writers from what narrow South American country? Chris Kearsley.
Chile.
Chile is the narrow South American country. That's right. And it is time for the video category. You know, this works a little bit differently. We have the video question for you. And, of course, the first question comes from the videotape. And if you get that right, I've got more in the category for you. We've been meeting lots of folks from Michigan State University this season with our video questions. And we're going to speak now, or hear from now, Sue Carter, who's the Associate Professor of Journalism in the School of Journalism here at MSU. Here's Professor Carter's question.
Journalists rely on this manual to standardize language in their stories. What is this manual called?
Style book?
More specific, please.
AP style book?
That's the one, the AP style book. That's right, for 10 points. Next, what is the slogan of the New York Times?
All the news that's fit to print?
That is exactly right. Now for 20. What 18th century American won a victory for a free press after a jury found him not guilty of libel against the governor of New York, against the royal governor of New York, because he had printed the truth?
Patrick Henry?
Not Patrick, oh, a nice guess. Not Patrick Henry. John Peter Zenger was his name. Famous libel case. 20 points on the category and 200 your total. Nicely done. We have a new toss-up now for all players. 90-point lead over here for Kearsley. Igor Stravinsky claimed this composer, quote, was the most Russian of all, unquote. A patriotism that showed in a work celebrating the Russian victory over Napoleon. Brian Corunna.
Peter Tchaikovsky.
Peter Tchaikovsky is right. 10 points. And Corunna, some catching up to do. We gave them Australian cities. We're going to give you another Australian category. Here, I want you to name these great geographical features of Australia. Great, of course, the key word in each one of these. First, this feature, created by coral polyps, stretches over 1,000 miles along the northeastern coast.
The Great Barrier Reef.
Right. Next, this desert in the northern part of Western Australia, bordered on the south by the Gibson Desert, is named for its primary component.
The what?
And I need your answer.
No answer.
No answer. It's the Great Sandy Desert. That kind of makes sense. The Great Sandy Desert is what it's called. Sandy's over here laughing now. You got 10 points on the category. We're going to our second pop quiz. 70-point game. Still anybody's contest, as 120 points are on the line in the pop quiz alone. Your letter combination, this will be interesting. Q-U-E. We're going to do some Q words. Q-U-E. And we'll start with Eric from Kearsley and Sandy from Corunna, just as we did last time. A word, phrase, or sentence which asks about a particular, Eric.
Question.
A question or a query. That's right. Next, the British word for a line of people, Eric.
Q.
A queue, Q-U-E-U-E. And finally, the city, which from 1791 to 1840 was the capital of Lower Canada. Sandy's first.
Quebec.
Quebec. Quebec. That's right, for 10 points. And now we go to David from Kearsley and Tori from Corunna. A female monarch. David's first.
Queen.
Queen, that's right, just that simple. Next, the harpooner in Herman Melville's classic story of Moby Dick. David.
Queequeg.
Queequeg is right, very good. And finally, a pursuit or search.
Quest.
David. Quest is right. Going faster than I can ask the questions here. Chris from Kearsley. Josh from Corunna. To crush or suppress an uprising, or to subdue or overcome one's own fears. Now the questions are starting to get harder. To quell, Q-U-E-L-L. Next, the rules used to govern the code of conduct in modern boxing? Chris.
Queensberry rules.
Queensberry rules, the Marquis of Queensberry. And finally, to relieve a thirst. Chris.
Quench.
To quench a thirst. That's right, for 10. Kate from Kearsley now, Brian from Corunna. The unusual first name of the film director whose works, Brian.
Quentin.
Quentin, as in Tarantino. Very well done. Next, the Australian state with Brisbane as its capital. Brian?
Queensland.
Queensland is right. 10 points for that one. And finally, uncomfortably sick to one's stomach. Brian?
Queasy.
Queasy is right. There you go. That's 3, and that's our pop quiz. Brian, sweeping those last 3, kept it from being a runaway. Still a 100-point game. The next time we hear the fanfare, it's the lightning round. Right now, a few more toss-ups to get to some important bonuses. Here we go, players. It began in roughly 3000 BC in Greece and China, but not until 1900 BC in Britain. It succeeded the Chalcolithic Age and involved the discovery that alloying copper and tin. That is David Kearsley.
The Copper Age?
No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong answer. Corunna, Brian.
The Bronze Age?
Bronze Age, alloying copper and tin. That's right. Computers, Corunna, computers your category. You find an old newspaper from the day you were born and you want to put some articles and pictures from it on your website. First, you would use what type of device that measures light reflected from printed images to convert them into binary data?
Scanner.
A scanner, that's right. Next, you might then use what company's Photoshop or Illustrator programs to retouch the images?
Adobe.
Adobe is right for 20. Finally, you might use what process, abbreviated OCR, to produce text files from the articles? I need your answer.
No answer.
No. Optical character recognition. It's becoming the latest thing with computers. You got 20, 70-point game, new toss-up for all players. The House of the Dead is based on this author's time in a gulag. The mock execution, that is Brian Corunna.
Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Fyodor Dostoevsky is right. Next. You could get a lot closer, Corunna, with these questions about Japan. The capital of modern Japan is, of course, Tokyo. First, give the modern name of the city that served as the imperial capital of Japan for 1,000 years prior to its being moved to Tokyo.
Kyoto.
Right. Next, before 1868, when the Meiji, M-E-I-J-I, when the Meiji emperor made it his capital, by what name was Tokyo known? And I need your answer.
No answer.
No answer. Tokyo was known as Edo, E-D-O. It's now a 50-point game. We have a new toss-up for all players. A small sliver of Texas, all of Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. Chris Kearsley.
Louisiana Purchase.
Right. Nicely done. Well solved. Countries leaders, your bonus category. The CIA's online directory of heads of state include entries for some countries with which the United States does not have diplomatic exchanges. Name these countries. Name some of these countries from their leaders. First, President of the Council of State Fidel Castro Ruz.
Cuba.
Right. Next, President Muammar Khatami, K-H-A-T-A-M-I, and Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, K-H-A-M-E-N-E-I.
Iran.
Iran is right. And finally, President Shen Shui-bian, S-H-U-I-B-I-A-N.
China.
More specific, please.
People's Republic of China.
People's Republic of China is what I wanted. That's good for 20 points and a sweep of the category. Yes. And you had a good time to get that one because that moves the lead back up to 100. We have a lot more than that to ask in the lightning round, though, so players, let's do that. We'll first look at the scores, and as I said, Kearsley with the 100-point lead over Corunna. Nothing but toss-up questions remain, and we know all these players are very quick on the buzzers. 10 points when the players are right. Remember the difference. You lose points when you're wrong in the lightning round. Keep that in mind as we see the 60-second timer is set, And the lightning round begins now. What element is sometimes known as quicksilver? Chris.
Mercury.
Right. What industrial leader perfected the assembly line technique of Chris?
Ford.
Right. Presidential candidate George Wallace was a 3-time governor of what southern? Chris.
Alabama.
Right. What appliance and electronics store has a bright? Chris.
Radio Shack.
Wrong. What precious metal is traditionally associated with a 50th anniversary? Chris.
Gold.
Right. What Native American woman's likeness appears on the most recently minted? Chris.
Sacagawea.
Right. In what Italian city was Florence Nightingale born? Chris.
Venice.
Wrong. What professional hockey franchise took its nickname from the title of a 1992 Disney film? David.
The Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Right. Name one of the 2 states on which Hoover Dam borders. Chris.
Colorado.
Wrong. How many daughters did Shakespeare's King Lear have? Brian.
3.
Right. What word is both the largest state in Mexico and the smallest breed of dog? Brian.
Chihuahua.
Right. Name one of the 2 states that supply most of the silver in the United States.
Utah.
No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. You go down by 10. It doesn't matter, Kearsley. It's a 100-point game. You win. You won. Congratulations. Quick buzzer on the electronics store has a bright yellow price tag as its logo. Best Buy, of course. What Italian city was Florence Nightingale born? Florence. I like that one. The Hoover Dam borders Nevada and Arizona, and the silver is mined in Nevada or Idaho. Those were the answers there. I think everything else they answered correctly, and as the dust settles, we're right back where we started at the beginning of the lightning round, a 100-point game. Corunna, you're a very sharp team, very quick on that buzzer. You played a team that was a little bit faster. I think that was the only difference in the game. I know you play these games all season long. The best of luck to you in your future competitions. The Cavaliers of Corunna, let's give them a hand. I've said this many times, I love games between 2 good schools, and unfortunately we have to say goodbye to one of them. Kearsley, we will not say goodbye to you. We will temporarily, but we'll see you back here in the second half. You've moved on. Congratulations. Kearsley will be back in the second half. Almost 600 points on the board between these 2 teams. A very good game. Toowoomba, Westphalia, and New Lothrop meet next time we get together when we play QuizBusters. Thank you for joining us this time, and for all of us, I'm Matt Ottinger. Enjoy.
Production of QuizBusters is made possible in part by Consumers Energy, building Michigan's future by supporting excellence in education. Consumers Energy, count on us. And by viewers like you. Book Scholarship Awards for QuizBusters are provided by SBS, the student bookstore, located at 421 East Grand River Avenue in East Lansing. For more information about QuizBusters or any of WKAR's locally produced series or specials, visit our website at WKAR.org.